Heading back to the main stage momentarily is another one of my amigos and also travel buddy. He's a man of many disguises, and he even gave me a Southern Belle, a coveted Great Plains region t-shirt. That's right, National President Vic Menendez. He'll be joining us very soon. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. I know it's not the same as being there in person, but we hope you're enjoying our virtual national conference so far. Now it's time for a much anticipated segment of our event today, our awards program. Today's program will include all awards that are traditionally presented during regional caucuses, such as Blue Chip and Scorecard, as well as Amtrak's Given Awards and all National Merit and Achievement Awards. Our MC for the virtual event is immediate past National President Randy Cloud. Randy, take it away.
Well, it's now time for one of our favorite parts of conference, recognizing you. We're here to honor those AMBUCS members, chapters, and districts who have achieved great things for our organization. We are truly celebrating the best of the best. Our Blue Chip Awards are designed to encourage chapters to maintain a sustained level of membership growth throughout the year. Simply put, more AMBUCS members, the more members we have, the more lives we can change. Each year, each chapter is given a growth goal based on number of members at the beginning of the chapter year. These 12 chapters achieved their individual goals. Please take a moment to read this list. This year, the chapter with the largest percentage growth is Bluegrass chapter, Bluegrass, Kentucky, Kurt Hamrick, president. Achieving Blue Chip is impressive. Doing it 2 years in a row deserves a special kind of recognition. Way to go, Ponca City Charity Angels, Ponca City, Oklahoma. We discussed whether it's Quinn, Q-U-I-N, or Quint, Q-U-I-N-T, and it really doesn't matter, and whether we should call them Springfield or Springfield ABC. Well, however you look at it, you can't call them anything short of exemplary. Look at that, 4, 5. These guys and their leading lady have reached an achievement that's never been done before. They have blue chipped 5 years in a row. And because they're the largest chapter in the organization, they have the highest goal to reach each year. Springfield chapter, Springfield, Illinois. Are you having fun yet? I am, I think. Let's talk trikes. Thank you for all those chapters, all these next chapters on these lists, for giving the gift of fun, and freedom with the Amtrak program. 5 to 9 Amtraks listed alphabetically. There's a bunch of them, A through L. We're going to run through them. 5 through 9 Amtraks to their communities. There are a bunch. Now, the rest of them, M through W if your chapter starts that way. I'm not going to read all these because I still have a lot of things to read and say. This will all be posted after conference. Now, up next, we recognize those chapters that have given 10 to 24 trikes during the year. Our first list, A through K chapters. And there's a bunch. And as I say, these will be posted after conference. And then all the chapters L through W. And we do want to say thank you to all of you for giving out so many smiles to people. Now it's time to recognize those that gave 25 to 49 Amtrikes through the year. 19 chapters will be listed here. 25 to 49 trikes. That's a lot, folks. And we don't stop there. These chapters gave anywhere from 50 to 74 Amtrikes during the year. That means at least, on average, 4 trikes. That's right, 4 trikes every month. We're volunteers. That's a lot easier said than done. Now, here are the top 2 chapters, top 2 of the top 3. Amtrike givers. Greenbucks provided 75 trikes. Greenbucks, Ohio, provided 75 trikes, while Grapevine, Texas, purchased and built 82 trikes last year. All right, so can you guess who the top Amtrike giver is? I'll give you a hint. They love trikes so much, it's in their name. Music City Trikes, Nashville, Tennessee. They purchased over 100. They purchased 106 trikes this year, but they also have an amazing, impressive recycle program. So there are an awful lot more than just those 106 families that have been affected and kids. All right, now, and I know we're moving kind of fast, guys, but this is new experience, but it will all be posted, okay? Chapter scorecards. For just a moment, we're going to talk about chapter scorecards, and that chapter scorecard is a written record of your chapter's activities through the year. It's a measure of all those contributions that you've invested in your community, as well as the national organization. We ask that you fill out your chapter scorecard on a quarterly basis, and so that records the points that you can achieve in various categories. I do want to tell you that given this unconventional year, chapters were all awarded 67 points on their final scorecard, an additional 67 points. Well, why? Well, because the Resource Center mathematicians got together and they found out that the average number of points earned by chapters from last year to this year, the average difference was 67 points. So we added 67 points to everybody. Starting off, first off, we want to recognize merit chapters. There's 7 of those merit chapters that are listed. They've earned 475 points on their scorecards for the 4 quarters. And congratulations to these presidents, because it has been a pretty challenging year. We have one chapter, Great Plains, Oklahoma, that did reach honor chapter status between 600 and 749 points during the year. Now watch this, folks. This is the list of chapters led by superior presidents. This is from number 27 down to number 11. That's 17 chapters. Those 17 chapters all achieved superior status, 750 points this year. For each of these leaders, they're given a watch, and their chapters receive a banner medallion patch. At least 750 points. Now, here we go. We have the top 10 chapters this year, and I'll read these top 10 winners. Starting at number 10, Ponca City Charity Angels had 1,209 points. Jenny Durham was president. Cornbelt, Illinois, 1,245 points. Al Bedell, president. Mountain Metro, 1,272 points. Priscilla Sachs, president. Rough Rider, North Dakota, 1,310 points. Christina Booley, president. Springfield, Illinois, 1,322 points, and Dave Kelm was president. Number 5, Longview 2 chapter, 1,342 points. Christo, president. Number 4 came in at Air Capital, Kansas, 1,363 points. Eric Hensley was president. Number 3, Longview, Texas chapter, 1,559 points. Tommy Knight, president. Number 2 chapter, Mesquite, Texas, 1,732 points, Jerry Dittman. And the number 1 chapter for 2019-2020 AMBUCS year was Greenbucks, Ohio, 1,757 points. Tracy Yawden, president. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Now, one of the things that AMBUCS has, and every organization does, we have a recognition of those leaders, those people who start new chapters. In our organization, we call them spark plugs because spark plugs keep the engine of AMBUCS running. Don't laugh, that was a bad joke. These individuals are recognized for sparking new life into uncharted AMBUCS community. Not only did they continue to carry out the mission in their own city, these amazing AMBUCS made time to start new chapters. Take a moment to read those. No, let's do that. The spark plug, Susan Hung, OC Special Spokes in California, started San Diego Super Speeders, San Diego, California. Emmy Yukawa, SoCal Trikers in California, started VC Trikers in Ventura, California. Christina Booley, Rough Riders, North Dakota, started Red River in Fargo, North Dakota. Donna Carlton Vish started Danville, Illinois, started Emerald Coast, Panama City Beach, Florida. Well, those people all started new chapters. That's all we can do is to keep the organization running. Now, I do want to mention one special thing. Rough Rider chapter, Christina Booley, Superior chapter president. How about that? She ranked Superior and sponsored a new chapter. So there you go. Christina, congratulations. We know how hard you've been working. Districts, which we still have, districts govern those chapters in the area, and district success is measured by those leaderships in those district governors as well as their chapters' accomplishments. These districts attained at least 300 points to reach merit level. Honor districts started at 400 points, and districts turn in a scorecard just the same as chapters turn in a scorecard, recognizing the achievements and activities of their districts throughout the year. Honor districts, 400 to 499 points on their scorecards. 4 of those districts made that level. And superior districts, 500 plus points. That's a lot of work for chapters in those districts and those district governors. And congratulations again, #1 district governor, Great Plains region, District 5E, my friend Dick Nowlin. Oh my gosh, who's that guy standing to the lovely Olivia? Oh, Bo, that's because we're talking about merit awards that were achieved by facts and figures. Now we're going to go to those based on written nominations, and those nominations are judged first by the region directors, and then those finalists were reviewed by a committee of external judges. So where are we now? Oh, yes, we are on the chapter newsletter award. This award is given to the chapter who publishes the most effective newsletter. Entries are judged on editorial content, originality, distribution, appearance, and reference to the national organization. In third place this year, Air Capital Chapter, Wichita, Kansas. In second place, Walker Chapter, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And first place, Edmond Chapter, Edmond, Oklahoma. Congratulations. Visibility. The award recognizes the chapter with the most outstanding public relations effort from February through May, which is AMBUCS visibility season. It's no surprise you'll see, third place. I hit a button too soon, guys. Sorry. Third place, Air Capital, Wichita, Kansas. Second place, Mountain Metro Chapter, Lawton, Oklahoma. And first place, love the sound effects, don't you guys? Greenbucks Chapter, Beaver Creek, Ohio. Congratulations to all our winners. Our next nifty award, Local Charities. This one I like. This award recognizes the chapter that has given the largest per member contribution, monetary, from funds raised during the year. to local charities, causes, and projects in the community or county in which it's located. Third place this year, Woodward Midday, Woodward, Oklahoma. Total of $27,745 given to their community for an average of $827 per member. Hey, I know these guys. Oklahoma City chapter, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. $17,593 given to the community for an average of $1,173 per member. And here we go. First place goes to, you're not going to believe these numbers, folks, Lidditz chapter, Lidditz, Pennsylvania. $1,130,317 given to the community for an average of $30,344 per member. Is that an unbelievable number or what? I think it's an unbelievable number. Community Service. Community Service Award recognizes the chapter that has rendered the greatest community service to the betterment of the community service in which it's located. Currently this year, third place this year, Woodward Midday chapter, Woodward, Oklahoma. Second place, Greenbucks chapter, Beaver Creek, Ohio. And here we go. First place, Community Service, Edmond chapter, Edmond, Oklahoma. Congratulations to my friends a little to the north of me. Youth Auxiliary Awards. And I know we're going fast, guys, but we're trying to cover a lot of ground. Youth Auxiliaries are made up of college or high school students who care about the AMBUCS mission. Our future does look bright when working shoulders together with all of these young people. This year in third place, Danville Juniors in Danville, Illinois. Second place, Longview Juniors, Longview, Texas. And first place is Lawton Juniors of District 5A, Lawton, Oklahoma. Congratulations. And if you guys have been to a national conference in the last few years, I'm sure you've run into some of these great junior AMBUCS. Oh boy, project manager. Here's the big ones. We're getting down to the wire, folks. Give me a breath. Next award is Project Manager of the Year. This award is given to the member who served best in the capacity as manager of a chapter project within the chapter year. This project may or may not include fundraising. Our third place winner this year, Dr. Rose Lapine, Mountain Metro Chapter, Lawton, Oklahoma. Our second place and Project Manager of the Year, Ms. Wendy Bond, Ponca City Charity Angels, Ponca City, Oklahoma. And now I get to read the entire submission letter for Project Manager of the Year. You'll know who this is as I start reading it, but we as an organization want to recognize the superior efforts of our National Project Manager of the Year by reading the entire letter. Chairman, Labor Committee for Grandstand. The American Business Club of Springfield has successfully managed the concessions contract for the Illinois State Fair Grandstand since 1954. Over the last 66 years, the club has served soda, popcorn, peanuts, and ice-cold beer for the 11 days of the fair. Typically, the club manages grandstand operations through 11 concerts that are attended by thousands of fans. During the 2019 Illinois State Fair, the crowds were larger than has been seen in years, and the grandstand was rocking nearly every night. Brian Mancy, who was just elected vice president, has been part of the grandstand committee for a few years. But this year, Mancy stepped up and took control of the labor committee. Mancy's efforts were wildly successful as he was able to recruit and place more than 1,000 volunteers who served concessions during the run of the fair. The grandstand has up to 10 selling locations that must all be staffed by volunteer labor each night. In order to accomplish this feat, Mancy began recruiting members 4 months prior to the fair. By word of mouth with club members, Mancy signed up people for shifts. Through social media and email and text messages, Mancy made sure that each location and each shift would have enough volunteers to serve warm popcorn and cold beer. Mancy organized the entire recruitment effort through a shareable document that club officers had access to and could track progress before the fair. Additionally, the club is responsible to the fair for limiting admission to volunteers only. Therefore, Mancy worked very closely with fair management to ensure that the club had necessary admission credentials, but also that we were protecting the fair's revenue by not allowing volunteers to sneak into the fair inappropriately. Mancy organized the entire credential process so that each volunteer was able to pick up their ticket and parking pass before arriving at the fairgrounds for their shift. The grandstand concessions opportunity provides the vast majority of the club's income each year, and the partnership with the Illinois State Fair is something that the American Business Club of Springfield respects and protects. Because of Brian Mancy's effort this year, we were able to smoothly, efficiently, and successfully continue our partnership with the fair and sell nearly $500,000 in concessions during the fair. It was our labor chair, Brian Mancy, that made this happen. Brian Mancy. I should have done that first, huh? Project Manager of the Year, Brian Mancy, Springfield Chapter, Springfield, Illinois. And congratulations, Brian. Super job this year. Oh, and guess what? As fast as I talked, we're down to the wire. We're down to Final Achievement Award given out. AMBUC of the Year, Highly Respected Individual Award. The AMBUC of the Year is given to the member who is the most outstanding AMBUCS member and personifies our mission of inspiring mobility and independence. There's much more to be said about AMBUC of the Year, but when you see these names and know what they've done, you'll know what we're talking about. This year, third place AMBUC of the Year goes to Keegan Toohey, Enid Chapter, Enid, Oklahoma. Congratulations. And in second place for National AMBUC of the Year, Donna Hingston, Ponca City Charity Angels, Ponca City, Oklahoma. Congratulations. Now this time I think I'm going to get the drum roll. Nope, we're going to read the letter. First place, AMBUC of the Year, 2019-2020. It's titled, How Can I Help? Trent Thompson's career has been about service. Thompson is a veteran who continued to serve with the Illinois Emergency Management Agency. Upon retirement, Trent continued to serve by teaching the next generation about public safety and public service at a local college. In Trent's time with ABC of Springfield, he has made an impression in everything he does. He was awarded Rookie of the Year after his first year with the club. As a member, if there was an event, a work detail, an Amtrak build, community effort, Trent is typically the first to ask, how can I help? The club spends a great deal of time raising money through our unique relationship with the Illinois State Fair. This year, Trent volunteered innumerable times with our admissions and parking committee and with the grandstand committee. Whether it was assisting with the gates at the fair or managing sales locations during grandstand concerts, Trent was there to lend a hand and spread the AMBUCS message with a smile every day. Trent Thompson serves as our Amtrak chairman, leading a committee of 12 members committed to identifying children and veterans who would benefit from Amtrak's. This past year, Trent has increased the club's outreach to the therapist community to keep them informed of what the club can provide through the Amtrak program, as well as connect families with therapists. Trent has also expanded our veteran program with direct outreach to veterans organizations throughout Central Illinois. As a veteran and a cyclist, Trent has built new bridges to our veteran community to enhance the club's ability to buy and build Amtrikes for veterans in our area. Above all, Trent has been an amazing ambassador for the Amtrike program, getting the word out that children and veterans can look to the club for a fun family outlet. During 2019-2020, the Springfield chapter bought, built, and gave away 19 Amtrikes to children and veterans, repaired 6 Amtrikes, and repurposed 7 trikes for schools and therapists. In all, because of Trent's leadership, the club spent nearly $25,000 this year on the Amtrike program. The club's Amtrike giveaways under Trent's leadership included an event at the Illinois State Fair with Illinois Director of Agriculture, an event at the Springfield Zoo that allowed the kids to ride their bikes through the zoo before it opened, a holiday event with Santa Claus, and individual giveaways to kids and families during COVID-19 in a safe manner. Trent Thompson believes with all his heart in the power of the Amtrike program. In addition to his actions detailed above, Trent took time to work with his committee to properly outfit our Amtrike trailer as a rolling build bike and repair shop. The trailer has all the necessary tools, including an air compressor, a workbench, storage, and an inventory for spare parts. As an ambassador for the Amtrike program, Trent has arranged for club members who own highly visible small businesses to park our Amtrike trailer on their property so that citizens of Springfield can see the good we do when they drive past our trailer. Our nominee for AMBUC of the Year is not a single issue candidate though. During the 2019-2020 year, Trent also served on the club's board of governors. In the last couple of weeks, Trent was unanimously elected to a second year on the board. As a board member, Trent has been an active member supporting the functions of the board, offering his learned opinions and providing advice to the president and other officers. And in this year of pandemic, Trent was one of the first board members to support our club's COVID response team to assist ABC member-owned businesses. This year's 2019-2020 AMBUC of the Year, Trent Thompson, Springfield chapter, Springfield, Illinois, and so much congratulations to all of you. Well, I spoke fast, I read fast, and now it's time for me to almost be done. Congratulations to all of our winners. If your chapter appeared during this presentation, then you will be contacted by the Resource Center to see how you would like to get your awards delivered, and they'll be getting a hold of you. Let's see, I think, whoop, there we go. Final music, hang on. Well, as it says, congratulations. Thanks for all you do. That has been my statement throughout my career with AMBUCS is thank you for what you do for AMBUCS and your community. I think now it's time for me to get off stage and turn it over to current National Big Hat President Jack Belware and past National Big Hat President Carmela Davis. Thank you and have a great rest of the conference.
Hello, fellow AMBUCS, and welcome to the 2020 Virtual National Conference and the National Scholarship Program update for this year. It's been an honor to serve on the committee the last 4 years and to serve as chair this year. It's no news to anyone here that 2020 has presented us all with lots of unique challenges in our personal, professional, and even our volunteer lives. But I'm not here to tell you about things you already know. I'm here to share what is truly a good news story, and that's this year's scholarship program. You've all seen this logo before, the Mission in Motion logo. Well, our 2020 scholarship program was all about mission in motion. We had to execute this program at a time where we weren't having meetings. Chapters were not allowed to do their spring fundraisers, many of them. The students we were trying to help weren't even in school. They were not to be found on campus. They'd all been sent home. And as it turns out, that was not a problem for you and for AMBUCS. AMBUCS delivered again, as they always do. Two prime examples of the mission in motion are Gary Westerman and Wendy Bond. They each issued challenges to the rest of the AMBUCS community to come through in the scholarship program. Gary, a former scholarship committee member, challenged the national board and the regional directors and the officers and the current committee to each put in $100 apiece. There's the first $100 in the picture that Gary stuffed in an envelope and sent off to national. We took Gary's challenge and we extended it to all members, and that challenge ended up raising $48,000+, made a significant difference in our ability to award scholarships to students this year. On the Big Hat side, Wendy Bond issued a challenge to her Big Hat community. She said, take the money that you would have spent going to breakfast or spent money that you would spend at auction and send it in. And that effort brought in $11,253, and a third of that came to scholarships as well. It was efforts like that around the country that made big difference in our ability to award the largest amount of money that I've been able to award or been part of on the scholarship program in the 4 years I was on the committee. This year we awarded $203,375. Like I said, that's the most we've done in the 4 years I've been there. Last year, you can see on the right, we awarded just over $201,000. So not a significant increase, but in a very tough year, an increase nonetheless. Where'd all that money come from? Well, $124,000 of it came out of our permanent scholarship fund, came from the endowment that people have been setting aside all these years. That's up a little bit from last year. That's a 4-year rolling return number off the endowment. So in spite of the tough market conditions early this year, we still had an increase in the amount of funds available. Big Hatters, thanks to in part to Wendy, raised more money than they did last year. And our general giving, thanks to Gary, came in right at the same level as we had been in previous years. You're all aware that or many of you are at least aware that we extended the program year just a little bit to give chapters a little extra time to do some of the things that they had planned in the spring that had been postponed. And the extra month, $16,000, or the extra month generated an additional $16,000, which put the program over the top and made it the success that it was. As you can see there in the bottom, this year we awarded that $203,000 to 261 students. That's actually down a little bit from number of students from last year, just a few. And so how does that happen? How do we take more money and give it to fewer people? Well, the answer is you give each of them a little more money. And that's what we did this year. The committee's been on a path the last few years to increase the amount of our awards, the size of our awards. As you all know, college isn't getting any cheaper. And so we want to be able to give a relevant or significant amount to students. So we've increased this year we increased the basic award to $600. That just happens to be a nice easy easy way to cut into $60,000. So we gave 100 of those this year, up from 550 last year and up from 500 when I first got on the committee 4 years ago. So that's a significant increase in something that we wanted to do. We gave 30 Big Hat awards at $625 a piece, up again from 550 last year. The last two lines there, the William L. White and the named awards, is where that $124,000 out of the permanent fund went. We have 77 named awards on our list this year, but those awards don't all have to go to single individuals. Folks that have contributed larger amounts of money can direct us to split that to give it to 2 or 3 or 4 people. And so those 77 named awards actually became 102 scholarships this year. And then the remainder, the stuff that wasn't named, became 29 William L. White awards. So significant improvement in the program this year in terms of the amounts that we gave. And I think that's something we should all be very proud of. But I want to talk a little bit about where that money went in terms of chapter or sponsored students and non-sponsored students. This is a question we get asked every year. We are commissioned as a committee to give at least 20% of the money that we give away each year to non-sponsored students. That's an outreach, visibility type thing, if you will, to expand our impact beyond our chaptered areas. But this year we ended up giving 40% of the scholarship money to non-sponsored students, which was up a little bit even from last year where we gave away, where it was 35. You can see that on the second line on the chart there, how the money splits out. The sponsored, the third line there is a very interesting line, the sponsored students awarded. Last year, 70% of sponsored students got awards. This year, 84% of sponsored students got awards. That's 5 out of 6 students that were sponsored by chapters got awards, yet we still gave away so much money to non-sponsored students. And that's because the bottom line. Last year, we had over 240 sponsored students. This year, we only had 183. So the number of sponsored students down significantly year to year, and this is down even more over the last 4 years. The percentage to non-sponsored students was up a little bit. So I want to talk about sponsorship and what chapters can do about that. We'd like to see more chapters get involved. But every chapter, regardless of whether you give any money to the scholarship program or not, is allowed to sponsor one student. You get a freebie, if you will. So if you've not been involved in the program before, take advantage, sponsor that first student next year, okay? Total donations from the chapter and chapter members determines or allows the chapter to sponsor additional students. And yes, that's chapters and chapter members. So as an individual, if you were to give $500 or $1,000 to the scholarship program, that counts towards your chapter's program giving and allows your chapter to sponsor even more students. So for every $600 in program giving, a chapter can sponsor 3 more students. And then for those of you that want to see like fifth grade math proofs, there it is down at the bottom, an example of how $1,200 from a chapter and its members can turn into 7 sponsorships. I won't go through the math proof. You guys will just have to trust me that it's right. But this is the kind of thing that we would like to see more chapters get involved in and sponsor more students. The more of that we can do, the better. And also now I want to talk about the committee this year. Our National Scholarship Committee, just like everybody else, was faced with some unique challenges. We've always done this type of work face-to-face. We go to High Point, North Carolina. We sit down in a room with a bunch of folders and applications printed out, and we grade them and we pass them around the room and we come to conclusions. Well, clearly, there was no travel this year and no face-to-face meetings, and the committee managed to solve that problem as well. Just another creative way that folks have solved problems in this interesting year. We took all of the applications, the 1,000-ish applications, and uploaded them into Dropbox. And when I say we, I actually mean Alyssa did that for us. Not every member of the committee reads every application. They get divided up and split up into teams of 2. But we took those applications that each person was going to read, and we actually printed them at the local FedEx Kinko's office. So we each picked up our own personal stack of applications, if you will, which allowed us to continue to do the things that we know, make it as normal as possible. And for those of you worried about security, they were all shredded appropriately when we got done. We spent a good chunk of time, 20 plus hours, I can't even track it, but it was above that, trying to figure out how we wanted to do this. And I want to, again, thank the committee for their receptiveness to doing things differently, like we've all done over the years. We managed to use a shared spreadsheet and all edited at the same time while we were in our own little kitchens and bedrooms and offices, scoring these things. And then finally, when it came time to actually do the real work, we had 33 plus hours of Zoom meetings over the course of 5 days to get the work done. And so it was a tremendously collaborative effort, and I want to thank the committee for that. And I want to recognize them. So here is your National Scholarship Committee for this year. Tammy, Sheila, and Vicki on the left there, and I'm over in the right-hand side in the center, sandwiched between Alyssa and Jessica. I will be off the committee next year, replaced by someone hopefully equally capable. And Sheila Davis will be next year's chair for the committee. This group of folks, I couldn't be more proud of what we accomplished as a team, and them and their receptiveness to doing things differently and their willingness to try stuff to make this thing work. We're a little concerned when it all started, but it worked out surprisingly well, which is pretty easy, as you all know, when you get committed individuals. So I just want to say one more time, thanks to everybody who helped make this year's scholarship program a success. Normally, if we were in person, I'd ask for questions, but clearly that's not going to work in the format today. But with that said, there's my contact info. And if you haven't got a pen and paper and written it down really quickly and you have a question, you can always reach me through Alyssa or Jessica. I'd be happy to talk scholarships. One of my favorite subjects. I would do that anytime. So please reach out to me or anyone else on the committee if you've got questions. And thanks again to everyone who helped make this year's scholarship program a success. I hope to see all of you in person in Pittsburgh, in Louisville next year. Thanks again.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for 4 amazing years on the Scholarships for Therapists Committee, and thank you for this last year of leadership through a really unconventional year. These people work incredibly hard. It is not an easy job that they come into, very rewarding, but also very tiring. And this year they really had to roll with the punches and be versatile. And we couldn't have done that without Larry's leadership. So again, thank you so much. And thanks for that great presentation. I was looking forward to hearing some of that good news. Okay, my name is Jessica Wall. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at National AMBUCS, and this is the Foundation Recognition and Awards part of our program. This is where we get to recognize our donors and those who have participated in some of our charitable programs. First up, we're going to talk about 100% giving. Oh, I love him so much. He's so cute. One of my favorite sounds is the laughter of a child, and you can't hear it, but you can just imagine the little giggles that are coming out of his mouth. So cute. Okay. Just makes me melt like butter in a frying pan. He is too adorable. All right. At the end of each February, we look at the number of members in your chapter, and we multiply that by $40, and that is your 100% giving goal, and it's the goal for each of the 3 programs, Amtrak, Scholars, and Cornerstone. Credit for these goals are earned through donations made by your chapter or its members, except in one instance, Amtrak purchases. For that, we give you 25% credit of your Amtrak sales, and that goes towards this Amtrak 100% giving goal. All right, soak this little cutie in one more time because I've got to change slides. So first up, we're going to take a look at those chapters starting from A through D alphabetically who met their 100% giving goal. Some chapters meet the goal from just their Amtrak sales. For those who don't, but still want to be 100% because it is optional, we allow for them to write a donation check and send it to the national office in order to reach that goal. Jessica, what do you do with those donation checks? I'm glad you asked. First, let's check out chapters E through K, who are our 100% Amtrak givers. Thank you all so much. So donations made to the Amtrak program go to the national wish list. This list is made up of people from all across the country who very much want an Amtrak, but they don't have a chapter to fundraise on their behalf. All right, let's get the next list started. Listed L through O. Now, many times these donations have some strings attached to them that we receive at our national office. It could be they want to give it to a specific location, or many times a specific diagnosis, or a particular age bracket. A lot of our charitable partners want to give them to children. We do have adults on the wish list though. When I first came to AMBUCS, there were 3 on there and they'd all been waiting the longest. It's because sometimes the funding doesn't come in for adults, but it's also because sometimes their trucks tend to cost the most. Let's get started with the list, P through W of our 100% Amtrak givers, rounding out. So when you donate to reach your 100% giving goal, that gives us a little bit of freedom here at the office. It gives us the freedom to help people from all walks of life. I'm reminded of Danny from Houston, Texas. He'd never ridden a bike before in his life because of cerebral palsy until he was 43 years old. And that's because he got an Amtrak as a result of being on our national wish list. Remember those 3 adults that I told you about who'd been waiting the longest? He was one of them, and he got his strike because of 100% giving. Oh, I love this picture too because I just love her so much. Miss Amy Carter from the Mountain Metro chapter. She is not only a physical therapist, but she's also an AMBUCS scholar. She received a scholarship as a result of the Scholarships for Therapists program. And then not only did she benefit, but all of the people that she's been able to impact in her career, they've also benefited as a result of this program. A Jacksonville, Florida therapist once told me, every day that I don't make movement fun is one more day that I've let him down. She was talking about a little boy with a degenerative disease, and she was afraid he'd begin to start losing abilities if she couldn't get him moving. Can you imagine carrying that kind of weight on your shoulders? My job today is measured on whether or not I spelled Conshohocken right. Just imagine, though, if your job performance was measured on someone being able to crawl or dress or swallow. And that's why we love our therapists. Let's check out the chapters who were 100% givers to the Scholars Program. This is going to be listed A through I. Donating to this program is so very important to us. And we are so appreciative for these chapters and stepping up to help do that. All right, you see your name? Maybe next year, huh? If not, or maybe you're on J through W. So let's get that list started. So keep in mind, Amtrak's are tools. Therapists, they captain the ship when it comes to therapy goals. We don't inspire mobility and independence without our allied health partners. So thank you all for doing the jobs that you do, and thank you to these chapters for participating in 100% giving to scholars. Something else that we don't do without one of these programs is we don't start chapters, or we at least aren't able to support them the ways that we want to when they're new. And that's what Cornerstone does. Cornerstone is the development and support of chapter growth. Cornerstone is our foundation. Without it, we crumble and fall. Cornerstone is you, and we are nothing without you. I love these pictures. I can hear Miss Donna laughing down here in the bottom right corner. I can see the love in Marcia's eyes just above her in the blue shirt for the Cornbelt chapter. And over here to the right, I see some confused faces. Renee Strawbridge. She's trying to figure out what in the world's going on. The junior AMBUCS, they're near the back. They look just as confused. And then their mentor, she's in the very back, waving her hands around in the air, waving them like she just don't care. Oh, I love you guys. You know how to have so much fun. So let's go ahead and check out the list of 100% givers who wanted to support growth and development of new AMBUCS chapters. Not only is it fun, but it's pretty daggone rewarding. So this is our 100% givers to Cornerstone, but it's also the list of what we call our ultimate givers. They were at 100% in all 3 programs. Way to go, guys. Okay, up next, the Big Heart Award. This is our top 10 chapters who supported the programs the most this year. So you can see how closely, look in between number 5 and number 4, just a few dollars separated those two. It's so amazing. Are you ready for the number 1 chapter though? They kind of pulled away a little bit. Number 1, Longview 2 in Longview, Texas. $29,942.79. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think they reached it because this chapter loves their Big Hat. And when you donate to Big Hat, it supports all 3 programs. So it definitely helps meet those giving goals. Thank you all so much. This is phenomenal work. Okay, Plateau Giving. We keep up with the history of giving from your chapters. So all that we've recognized this year, it's going towards the history of all that has been done in the past since the inception of the Living Endowment Program or 100% Giving. And Along the way, we recognize when chapters hit major milestones, or as we call it, the plateaus. It starts at $10,000, as you can see here. These chapters have just reached that first plateau, and it goes up to $25,000 and then $25,000 increments thereafter. So it's kind of one of our fun awards because it keeps up with the history of a chapter and their contributions to the organization. So here's our $25,000 plateau achievement winners. Congratulations to them. Up next, we got $50,000. Here's $75,000. $100,000, starting to get into those six figures. $125,000, had a couple of those hit it. And $150,000. Congratulations. Ready for 175? We have one get in there. Way to go, Greater Champaign County. Congratulations to you. $200,000, Mesquite. You'll hear Mesquite a lot this year. They did a lot of great things. Thank you, guys. $250, the ladies of Mountain Metro. I know they're cheering wherever they are. $275. Way to go. $325. So nobody hit the $300,000 this year. Longview, Texas. And then on to $350. One of their neighboring chapters, Longview 2 and Grand Rapids. $375. Way to go. $400,000 from Kalamazoo coming in there and hitting that plateau. All right, you ready? You ready? Boom, can you believe it? Irving, they are our highest plateau achievers. They are the biggest givers of all chapters to date. And they're coming in there at $558,200.08. Holy cannoli. Keep in mind, this is giving that's been done over the life of the chapter. I had a coworker one time who thought they did it all in 1 year when they hit the $500,000 mark. And I was like, if they hit $500,000 in 1 year, they're going to get a lot more than a slide in a PowerPoint. Okay, let's talk about the permanent fund. So we have an endowment where we invest donations, and that is so that they can continue to support these charitable programs forever and ever and ever. The Amtrak Permanent Fund side of things, based on the number of investments that it's had, it gets about, it's like 8.9% of the return that we have every year, and we do a 3-year average of our permanent fund return. And then we, like I said, we give about 9% of that to Amtrak. So these next individuals gave the $1,000 minimum contribution to invest in that permanent fund, and we call them the Amtrak ambassadors. Some of them have went on to invest $10,000, which is the minimum amount to have a named Amtrak endowment. Once they reach that point, we let them name their scholarship, per se, and then tell us what type of individual they want to give it to from our national wish list. And when we award it to that individual each year, we say, this was given to you by the Alan and Cheryl Lemieux named Amtrak endowment. And they are able to have one of those stripes given on their behalf every year, forever and ever and ever. Thank you so much for those who have invested into the Amtrak endowment this year. You are so cool. We're going to talk about some other really amazing people who did the $1,000 investments into the permanent fund side with scholarship so that we can continue to educate therapists forever and ever and ever. Now, this is a very popular part of our program. We call them the William L. White donors. And so let's go ahead and get started. This list is going to come at you B through K. And then if you'll look over there to the right, you'll be able to see the total contributions that they have done in just this year. That's really impressive. And as I said before, some of them have already invested. And so that is not their total investments into the permanent fund, but that's just what they've done for this year. And here is the list, L through U. You'll see that we have some chapters who do this. They decide to endow something as a chapter. But then, of course, we have a lot of individuals who take this on as well to either honor themselves or to do honors or even memorials for some of their loved ones. And you'll see that making the new name scholarship awards list this year. So like I mentioned, the Indian Valley chapter, they did this as a memorial scholarship for David Bucket. Grand Rapids, I call them just king of name scholarships. They're great about rolling out a way to honor their members. They're up to 4 name scholarships. In this most recent one, they did for Norm Smith. Mesquite chapter, honoring Brad Henley with that new name scholarship. Irving chapter did one in their name. And then Gordon Shaw and Jenny Clement Shaw, they finished their name scholarship this year as well. And it's named after Little Miss Badass. There's no other way to describe Jenny. She is just really, really cool. Command Sergeant Major Jeanette Clement Shaw. That is the name of the scholarship that was added. Also wanted to give some credit to those who reached the $25,000 investment. So when you make the minimum $10,000 to have a name scholarship, that is right, as of right now, an $800 scholarship to a student of the committee's choosing. You, of course, are able to give criteria for that scholarship that the committee judges and decides who's getting what scholarship. And so that $10,000 gets you an $800 scholarship. $25,000 gets you a $2,000 scholarship or scholarships. And so those who have reached that $25,000 investment this year are the Southwest Amarillo chapter, Salina chapter, and then Patty and David Van Horn. You guys are awesome. Thank you so, so much. Okay, Cornerstone Permanent Fund. And yes, I finally get to have a slide for this one. I had to put a picture of Albadale sitting down because it took me off guard at first. I never see Al sitting down. He's always busy and moving around. Just too rare of a sight not to share it with others. Well, you know what? You might see him sitting down. You might see him sitting down behind the wheel of a truck. He is always dragging an Amtrak trailer all across different states, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Wisconsin. He's went to North Dakota. There are states where he has taken an Amtrak trailer and I'm missing it. Al loves starting and supporting chapters. He is so passionate about that. And it's only appropriate to picture him in this way, not only because he loves to start chapters and sustain those groups so much, but he also loves it so much that he decided to financially invest in this program and do it in a really big way. It's really amazing. Thank you, sir. He is our first named chapter founder. Mr. Albadale, past national president and member of the Cornbelt chapter. He invested $10,000 into our permanent fund for Cornerstone. And also, a first for us, the first chapter advocate, Mr. Larry Turilli. You've seen him presented just before me, but also a member of our national AMBUCS board, and he is also a member of Cornbelt, but also the I Hope chapter. Thank you guys so much. Okay, you know I wouldn't let you get out of here without telling you how you can donate. You can either make a general donation. We love those too. I know that I talked about the permanent fund and giving $1,000 or $10,000, a lot of money. But really, we know, and I hope you know, you can make a huge difference with $10. $10 can get a kid started on their new Amtrak, or $10 can be what motivates others to give $10 and then $10 and then $10. And next thing you know, you're educating a future therapist. So if you just want to give a general donation to one of our programs, you can go to the ambucs.org website and click Donate Now. Now, when you click on Donate Now, you can pick the program that you want to donate to, or if you are interested in William L. White, Amtrak Ambassador, Chapter Advocate, giving to that permanent fund, you can click that in blue where it says This Pledge Form. And then you can fill that out. We're going to contact you from our office in order to take care of that. And it's just because we are so versatile when it comes to setting you up so that you can pay your pledge. You can do the $1,000, or you can say, I want to do $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. You can also say, I want to pay it all at once, or you know what, I want to be on a payment plan. Most of our chapters or members opt to do $100 a month for 10 months to get that paid off within a year. We have some, though, who do $25 a month over the course of 2 years. It's whatever you want, what you need to do to be a contributor of this program. We can set it up so that it comes out on the 17th of every month because that's what's comfortable for you. So we're very flexible. That's why we wanted to create just a general pledge form that lets you communicate with us and talk about what's going to work with you as our donor. I have to mention Trek for Trikes. I know Miss Donna did that earlier as this year's Trek chair. I really appreciate her and her commitment to this. I know it's hard to plan a walkathon when we're not together, and we have to socially distance. So she's encouraging you to get active, do what you need to do to get those miles counted for, or get donations for every heartbeat that you're able to have because of that activity level that you've reached. So get active, take a picture of it, send it to us, and you might win a Trek for Trikes trophy. You can also mail those non-credit card donations to us. Set up your Classy page. You see that in the bottom left corner. You've got until September 30th to raise funds. And please know these will be benefiting the national wish list. Okay, again, thank you all so much. If you were recognized here today, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you weren't recognized here today, thank you, thank you, thank you. We think you're awesome just for taking this on and carrying out our mission in your communities. But then when you step up and you help us at the national level too, well, you're just awesome. So I have been given the honor of introducing our next speaker, and I feel so fortunate to do this. I consider one of our biggest awards that we give at the national office to be the Therapist of the Year award, because we value those allied health partnerships so deeply. Let me go ahead and stick to the script and read this year's nomination letter. We are proud and honored to nominate Kourtney Schmidt as our nominee for the 2020 Therapist of the Year Award because we feel that she exemplifies the highest qualities and ideals of an AMBUCS member and therapist. We have seen firsthand selfless love and caring for her patients throughout the rural and desolate western portions of Oklahoma, and for some of the most heart-wrenching cases. Kourtney goes above and beyond by driving great distances in a far-flung area to treat patients with various disabilities. Some of these are obvious, while others are not readily seen. She does this in a thoroughly professional and compassionate manner with amazing results. For example, Kourtney is currently learning sign language in order to better communicate with one of her 2-year-old profoundly deaf patients. During a recent event, Kourtney used her training as a therapist, plus her newly acquired skills in sign language, to persuade the child onto an Amtrak. It was so gratifying to see how calmly and professionally Kourtney interacted with the child and her mother in the midst of the excited audience to ensure that the child had a positive experience. This was due to an Amtrak build, and it was a particularly chaotic time. Kourtney helped Mountain Metro in so many ways. She assisted Amy Carter in identifying and evaluating potential Amtrak recipients. She attended workshops and seminars and assisted with training sessions throughout the year. She helped with Amtrak builds, and she was instrumental in assisting Amy in making the Amtrak rodeo at the 2019 Pittsburgh National Conference such a success. Kourtney is also a dedicated AMBUCS member of Clinton chapter, and she promotes AMBUCS and the AMBUCS mission by providing guidance to physical therapy assistant students during their job shadowing rotation assignments and by demonstrating the role that Amtrak's can play in rehabilitation and self-esteem. Her ability to work with all age levels in the same compassionate manner is evident throughout her volunteerism at the nursery in her church and her dedicated service at various local skilled nursing facilities. She is also a wife and a mother, and by the way, she not only supports Clinton and Mountain Metro, she's a physical therapist for the Woodward chapters as well. She's a busy, busy lady indeed when it comes to evaluating and ordering Amtraks as well as performing other functions. Kourtney fits all of these things in while continuing to study, grow, learn, and train in her field to keep current on methods to improve the lives of her patients and those around her. Intermingled with her love for others is her understanding and desire to use her profession to help improve their health and well-being. She definitely sees AMBUCS and Amtrak as an integral partner. If Sue Haywood is Amtrak Mama, Amy is Amtrak Chick, they're calling Kourtney Amtrak Chicklet. Congratulations, Kourtney. We can't wait to hear what you have to share with us today. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kourtney Schmidt, and I'm a physical therapist from Cornbelt, Oklahoma. I'm extremely honored to be accepting the AMBUCS 2019-2020 National Therapist of the Year Award. I would like to thank Priscilla Sachs and the Mountain Metro AMBUCS for the nomination. I would also like to thank Amy Carter, who was instrumental in introducing me not only to the AMBUCS organization, but also the Amtrak. Most importantly, I would like to express my gratitude to my husband, Lucas, for supporting me in all of my endeavors. I began this journey in 2013 when I transitioned from a full-time outpatient job to school-based therapy. I was introduced to a totally different patient population that needed fun ways to exercise. Amy let me utilize an Amtrak for treatments, and that was my first introduction to what the AMBUCS organization had to offer. She also encouraged me to attend events that the Mountain Metro chapter had in Lawton. Before too long, I was hooked and wanted to know how I could get more Amtraks for the students I serviced. Amy encouraged me to join my local chapter so they could help me. I then joined the Clinton AMBUCS chapter. I started to realize that I needed to reach out to other chapters to help my students get Amtraks because I serviced multiple school districts from different counties all over Western Oklahoma. I reached out to Woodward Midday AMBUCS and was put into contact with Leona. She is an amazing woman who has such a heart for the kids. We have been able to present 7 Amtraks over the past 2 years. She once told me that we will not say no to a child that needs an Amtrak. I have also utilized my current chapter, Clinton, for Amtraks, with Connie telling me, sure, we can get that for your student. Mountain Metro AMBUCS chapter has also helped the schools that I service that don't have a local chapter. I have learned that there is always a need for an Amtrak with the children I service and a group that is willing to help as long as I am willing to ask. I feel very passionate about the Amtrak and am excited to introduce this piece of equipment to the next generation of therapists, as well as those currently practicing that don't know about it. I usually take physical therapist assistant students each year and make sure to take the time to talk about the AMBUCS organization and the benefit of the Amtrak. I was able to go to Pittsburgh prior to the last national convention to assist with educating therapists on the AMBUCS organization and the Amtrak. I was able to assist with fitting children for Amtraks. It has lit a fire in me to continue to pursue avenues in this organization where I can do more. The AMBUCS organization is like no other, and each chapter has found creative ways to raise funds to present more Amtraks and build more ramps. Whether it is a car show or a gala or selling candy boxes, the goal is all the same. I know times are tough right now with everything going on in the world, but I want to encourage everyone to continue to stand shoulder to shoulder. There are children and adults that need an Amtrak or a ramp, and that is why we do what we do. Thank you so much for this award, and God bless.